I'm gonna have to install an under the wing coat hook once the wings are on. Haha. All right, now I'm taking a look at this Aerosport vertical stab fairing, and first thing I did was reach up inside here and tighten just a couple of the bolts. I just want to make sure that this thing sits in position. We never tightened them before, and really like the way this fits. This looks really nice. Protrudes probably like 3/16 or 1/4 inch in the back on both sides. You also kind of have to go around the plate. This is the doubler plate for the removable handle. That was an option that we decided to do. So I think first order of business is to trim this to be flush. It doesn't interfere, but it looks wrong. So do that, and then make some marks, drill some holes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna trim this and then maybe just put a little round over on the corners here. I'm also gonna just clean up this top edge. I notice it's a little jaggedy. Not bad at all. I just actually I didn't even notice it until I looked at it closely. The rest of it looks really good. So basically making sure I have, these are spaced 10 inches apart, and I think I'm going to use riv nuts to hold it in. I've seen other people do that, and yeah, I think. Did like a 1/2 inch radius or 1/4 inch radius on that, on these sides, just to kind of give it a finished edge. The top, so I have these little voids. I kind of had these in the panel too. This is probably the worst section here. I can fill them in with CA glue, and it kind of mimics the carbon fiber, or leave it for when we actually paint the plane. But the top is a lot more linear now, like no bumps on there. Just clean that up. And then I also just took the high spots off of the inside. So I noticed just from putting it on and off here, monkeying around with it, that it left a few scratches in there. So obviously I want to keep that smooth, so once the plane is painted and we have to take it on and off for inspection, that you know, less likely to scratch. So yeah, I basically just took a flat block and just went over it real quick. So all right, next is gonna drill these and measure them. Kind of got a late start today. It's almost 11. I'm going to bed. I'll leave that for tomorrow. So good night. All right, I'm gonna attempt to fill in these voids a little bit. So what I do is I put a little bit of the thin CA glue, and then I use these micro applicators and kind of just go over and try to get the worst of them. Kind of just mimics the resin, but at least you won't have that jagged edge. So this is a quick way to get rid of the voids, and obviously you're gonna just flat sand it after. few times going round and round with the sandpaper, the glue, filling it and sanding it, but all the voids are gone. Kind of a rabbit hole you can go down. I just washed it so it's still wet. There was some up here, there was some inside there. Of course there's going to be a few pinholes, but gotta kind of draw the line and move on. But this side, actually both sides look perfect, so really happy with how that came out. Time to drill some mounting holes. So of course I measured each one by one, kept adding 10 inches to each one. And then I made the mistake of trying to compare the left to the right, and sure enough I was off by 1/8 of an inch due to the curvature and the compounding error, I guess. So I know it doesn't really matter, but basically I just put some lines on the table with a square, and I'm going to mark them that way. So this way I know they're straight and I can sleep much better. So I was doing the final check just to make sure I didn't do something really dumb and have one of these holes before I drill them end up on a rib or something. This one here is behind it. This bulkhead flange goes that way, so that's plenty of clearance. But I did notice, because I did the tail wheel lift pull handle, that if you put a screw in here, it's going to put a lot of tension on it. So I'll probably add a piece of carbon fiber behind it, or plastic or something. So I just marked that. On this side here, I'll probably do a spacer or foam, or I don't know, let me think about it. Ha! Sight! I found a piece of carbon fiber left over from cut out of the cowl. That's exactly the right thickness. So I'm going to trim 1 inch off. I'm going to adhere it to the inside part of that. That worked out perfect. So now I have a little spacer in here, so when you tighten the screw, it doesn't distort this. I think here I cut a little 1/4 inch strip, but I don't think I'm actually going to use it because of where the screws mount, and plus the rivet here kind of makes it bow a little bit anyway. I'll probably end up putting a small piece of weather stripping gasket along there that ends here. So that's the plan. Now, finally, time to drill some holes, I think. Got my holes drilled. These are all number 40s. Decided to take the rudder off. That was actually more time consuming than I thought, trying to get your hands up in there to get the bolts out. Put it in a while ago, but we had 2 people, so coming out, and hopefully next time it goes in, it's for good. I am thinking of putting nut plates in here. The original idea was to put thread sets, but I think I can access the backside everywhere I need to with the rudder out, so that's what I'm gonna do. Yes, nut plates it is. So these back ones and these front ones come very close to that support and that bulkhead. So again, my little handy 22.5 degree jig kind of just offset them so they're symmetrical, and that works. I'm glad I have long arms to get those last few inside there, reaching in and trying to get it on. This one here is kind of tricky too. See if you can see that, because I can't get in there, but take a ruler with a magnet Put the steel nut plate at the end like this, and then you can fish it in, line it up, put a cleco in it, done. I feel so Alrighty, opened up all of these holes to number 11. I stuck that thing back in. I know I said it's going to be permanent next time, but I didn't bolt it. I just put up some holes in there just to make sure everything still lines up. And let's install it. Pretty excited. Actually started and finished a project, a part of a project, a chapter in one day, not a day, but a weekend, and real happy with how it came out. I'll point out, so I ended up using the nut plates, which tighten, you know, as the screw goes down, because they're kind of squished, the threads, and I'm glad I did. A, I was able to get to all of them, so that's good. And B, if you look, you know, this kind of just sits on top of the factory rivets. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but if I tighten this too much, see how there must be a rivet here and here, so it squeezes the outside out. Now, I can obviously just back it off, so it sits nice and flush. And again, I was gonna put some weather stripping or something in there. But if I did that with thread sets, obviously they would be loose. And yeah, I did put some nylon washers underneath, and they're number 10, so I gotta get some number 8. But this worked out great. This is rock solid. This one you can tighten into without getting all funky because of that. This gap I left, like I said, I'm probably gonna put some thin weather stripping in there. Fits awesome, really happy. So that'll be the end of that. Good night, thank you. Again, that's just me doing it. Aerosport makes this carbon fiber piece. It's a really, really nice looking, sexy piece, and it gives it a nice design for the tail that's otherwise a little chopped or square. But all right, enjoy, happy building. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.